Do you struggle with being a new online entrepreneur? Do you sometimes feel lost and alone in your journey? Or maybe you need some tips and inspiration in how you can market and sell online. Join Valerie Fisher in her weekly show, Change Makers, where she talks to other new online entrepreneurs about how they found the courage to build their brand. The show hopes to inspire other new business owners with stories of our guests' experiences. Also, watch out for solo recordings with our host where she does mini trainings of her brain science selling method. Each episode contains powerful information to help you grow your online business, help you with your social media, and build a respected brand. Changemakers, a show by and for online business owners.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Change Makers, your show for new online business owners looking for inspiration and courage as they begin their entrepreneurial journey. On this show, we have solo episodes where yours truly, Valerie Fisher, will discuss neurolinguistic programming, sales and marketing, and business tips. Majority of the show will have guests who will share stories of their own journey and whose products and services also hope to serve new online business owners like you, our listeners and viewers. I'm excited for this episode, so let's get the ball rolling. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Change Makers. And today we have Kara Dennison with us. This is going to be exciting. We had a conversation just a little while ago before we started recording, and I'm so excited to share her with you right now. Okay, Kara, I usually start my conversations with what change did you want in your life or in this world that inspired you to start your business?
Man, change is such a big thing, right? I always say that the only constant in life besides death and taxes is change, because that is the only thing that you can really be, really is constant, is change. And so it started a few years ago when I was in my corporate job. I was working in human resources and corporate recruiting, and I knew I needed to change because, frankly, I ended up in the hospital because my job was killing me. I ended up with a 6-week-long migraine. The stress was just overwhelming, and on the other side, I didn't want to be a part of the process anymore. So if anyone follows me, I'm on all the social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. And you'll hear me say that the traditional hiring process is a broken process. And I say that because if you're looking for a new job and you get your fancy new resume, either you do it yourself or you have a professional do it for you, and then you hit the job boards like Indeed or LinkedIn or Monster or Career Builder, most of the time what I hear time and time again every single day is, I feel so frustrated in my job search. And typically the reason why is because if you haven't had to find a job in a while, you go, okay, how do I find a job? You go to the job boards, you just hit apply and you find a job description, you apply and you do the job description, or you do the job application over and over again. The fact of the matter is between the applicant tracking system scanning your resume and automatically rejecting you, you only really truly have a 2 to 3% chance of landing an interview if that's your only strategy. I know, and it's really overwhelming, and not a lot of people talk about this. And so time and time again, I talk to people and they're like, I'm feeling so frustrated and I'm feeling rejected and anxious. And I feel like I got to stay stuck in this job that makes me feel miserable. And I'm not landing interviews, right? And that's how I was feeling in my job. And I was feeling very frustrated and unfulfilled because I was a part of that process being a corporate recruiter, right? So I knew that there needed to be a change for me because I ended up in the hospital. I was feeling unfulfilled. I was feeling mentally drained. And I was also feeling really unfulfilled watching other people being a part of this in the process. So I needed to get out.
You were like an enabler.
Yeah, right. But I didn't know how to change it because this is the traditional hiring process. Like, how do you do it, right? So I ended up quitting my job and I started my company. My company's name is Optimized Career Solutions, but I ended up partnering with another career coach, and we built this this coaching program. That was a fantastic coaching program. And we helped so many people during the pandemic. we had in our program 80 to 100 people at any given time. That's a lot of people.
God, yes.
Yeah, it is a lot of people. We helped in 2020, we helped nearly 800 people find their jobs during a pandemic, which was amazing. And we
Amazing.
grew that, right? It was awesome. I mean, during a time where people were unemployed, not finding jobs, feeling miserable, we got to help people find their dream jobs, which was so fulfilling. We built that program to a $1.4 million program in 2020, which was so exciting. I believe that was my second year as an entrepreneur. It was just like, whoa. Um, at the beginning of 2021, though, my business partner and he had made some decisions that I didn't agree with. And so I decided to separate. Again, another need for a change. So, I mean, I am just a constant believer in change. If it doesn't feel right, if you are feeling like it's taking more than it's fulfilling you, take an audit of your life, right? And so I separated. And the reason why is because when you're servicing 80 to 100 clients at any given time, how do you keep those people accountable to their goals, right? As a coach. And I just couldn't. There was people who would pay us in that program and then disappear, and I wouldn't even see them anymore. And so I like to sleep at night. I want to make sure that the people who are paying us are getting the results that they wanted. And so I separated and I started a program with my husband. And now I offer another program that is designed to help keep people more accountable. We use the latest technology, and my husband is our accountability and mindset coach, where we can keep people accountable. We'll never have more than 25 people in our program at any given time. And I also get to do business consulting too, where I get to help mainly women business owners either start, streamline, or scale their business and learn all the things that I learned growing that program and growing my new program. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, a very big nutshell, everything that I've been doing. So it's been kind of nuts.
Two-pronged purpose. So you're helping people find work, but for those that have decided to go through to the entrepreneurial path, you also help them out. How is that? Because I know that I also used to be a corporate slave, and like you, I was getting sick. I had pneumonia, so I was diagnosed with pneumonia, but I was still going to work. I was still even going to work on Saturdays, and it just became too much. When do you decide, and how do you decide between corporate and entrepreneurship? Because you are in this really sweet spot right in the middle where you can help both. How do you advise your clients whether find a job, or I can help you make your business work?
Yeah, I love this sweet spot. I like to say that I straddle this interesting line between really entrepreneurship and the corporate world, because I help people in the corporate world, but I also have done the entrepreneurship thing. I actually have a group on Facebook called the Optimize Career Women's Network too, for women. And it's for anyone who makes money, right? Either in the corporate world or as an entrepreneurship. And here's the thing is, I know for me, when I was in the corporate world, I was doing resumes on the side for friends. How many people, when you were a corporate slave too, right? Did you have a side hustle? And I had a side hustle. So there are so many people. We're now living in the gig economy where it's almost unheard of if you have a 9-to-5 where you don't also have a side hustle, whether you're, babysitting the neighbor's kid. I did that. I did resumes on the side. I worked as a lifeguard through college. Like I have always had a side hustle. And I almost don't know of a woman who doesn't have a side hustle. But the problem is that when I left my job and started entrepreneurship full time, most of the coaches out there were men. And there were some female coaches, and I love that now that it's such a huge thing now. And I love all the women entrepreneurs out there. But it was so overwhelming because most of the sales techniques were the bro sales and like all this other stuff, right? Right. And it's like, I don't like to sell that. Bro marketing. I'm like, I don't like to sell that way. It feels not it just feels so self-serving. It doesn't feel good. And when I'm selling to other women, it doesn't work for them either. They don't like to be hard pushed. Sometimes they have to check in with their husbands or their partners in order to make sure that they can invest in whatever, right? And so I want to be able to help those women, the women who are looking for their next dream job because they don't want to be an entrepreneur, or they want to be an entrepreneur and they want to have a side hustle. They want to use their passion and make a little bit of extra money.
Mhm.
The thing that I will say about being an entrepreneur is that it's not always what those bros are posting on social media. And I don't see this as often anymore, but like, I remember when I first got to be an entrepreneur, everyone that I was looking at was like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. And I'm like, I can't wait till I get my private jet, right? Like, that's what all entrepreneurship is, right? And it's
And the jet.
not. It just really isn't. It's I always talk about the 20-80%. Everything that you see on social media is the 20%. No one posts the 80%. No one posts the 80% of crying at night, of the hustle, of working every weekend, of having to figure things out on YouTube, of having to do all the finances and the expenses, and like you're trading in your 9 to 5 for a 24/7 when you become an entrepreneur for the first couple of years until you can figure things out. And it is a lot of hard. You just need someone to come in and give you some good ideas and give you some short-term wins and some long-term goals and things like that as well. And sometimes you might just need someone to talk to and help you out with that side hustle, but also find that corporate job because maybe you don't want all that pressure. Maybe you just want to leave it at the office.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I was actually I just actually posted about this morning because I saw a McKinsey and Company report that says 1 out of 4 women actually want to leave their jobs to become entrepreneurs. But then and I had this conversation with my former boss who who have been in the industry for a really long time, and she was saying that that only applies to the US, because here in the Philippines it's actually difficult. And I wish we can also have that sweet spot where I can be in the corporate world but not be in the rat race. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because when you're in the, at least for me, my personal experience, when I was there, I was really there. I didn't have time for almost anything else.
Mhm.
And what you're saying is you are coaching people, women in particular, that they can actually have that, right? That they can that they
Yeah, so
do business separately while they're doing their corporate.
Yeah, so a lot of times the business consulting that I do, it's either to figure out how to scale their side hustle in order to make it their 9 to 5 so that they can leave their corporate job, or some have already quit their corporate job and now they've started the side hustle and now they're like, oh, I've already taken this leap, so now I have to figure out how I got to scale this thing so that I can really pay the bills. Or they have a corporate job and they started the side hustle and they really love it and they can see the potential, but now they're really not sure how they can really, that sweet spot where they're making money and they need to make more money so they can quit that 9 to 5. Excuse me. So the one thing that I will say is that, just like what you said, working a corporate job is a lot of hours. It's a lot of dedication. And then having a side hustle, it's different between, having a side hustle that's like a hobby where you can, yeah, if you make money, it's great, but it's a hobby, you're having fun. And then having a side hustle that makes serious money, there's always going to be a line where it tips the scales, right? If you can make a couple bucks and it doesn't take up a lot of time, and fine, great. But if you really want to make that money and really there's going to be a point where you're working 80, 90, 100 hours a week and something has to give. So you have to determine, are you going to go 100% into your side hustle and turn that into a business and quit your job? Because if so, great, because your business is not going to thrive or scale or grow until you give it 100%. So you have to make that decision about when you're going to quit something in order to give your 100% to.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need someone to be like, hey, yeah, this is really going somewhere. Or, hey, listen, maybe we need to adjust, you know?
You're the perfect person because you know both.
Yeah, exactly.
You have experience in both. Okay, and then so tell us about your, if you have a number one product or service that you really promote and that you want to talk about, what would that be?
Sure. So I think our flagship service is going to be our 90-day coaching program. So we have a coaching program. It's called the Six Figure Career Boost Unlimited Coaching Program. And what this is it's designed really to help people find their next corporate position within 90 days. We truly invest in our clients that invest in us and in themselves too. And so what this is it's our clients, they get unlimited support from us. They get twice weekly group calls, they get twice weekly open office hours, and they get unlimited one-on-one sessions with myself and my husband, Jack.
Really?
So yeah, it's really, really
This
a
is
good program.
like full service.
Full service, and they get access to my training course, which is truly the roadmap to a successful and strategic job search. And because we do believe in accountability, since it is set up as a 90-day program, we have built in accountability steps into the program. What I mean by that is if any of our clients attend one group call a month, and they set up 3 interview prep sessions, as well as a couple accountability steps, then they've earned additional one-on-one support until they land their offer. So that what that means is that if they don't land their offer within 90 days, we're with them until the very end. So it truly is a very valuable program. And it is pretty affordable compared to our competitors as well. So I do this because I really just want to help people find their jobs. And we really want to be there until the very end so that we can celebrate and pop that champagne with them when they get their offer.
Wow, this is the first time I've ever heard of such a service. This is like
Yeah.
I cannot I cannot believe this is such, such a great. I wish we have some a similar service in the Philippines. But for all of you viewers, listeners, if you're interested,
Yeah.
because I also have viewers and listeners in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia. I have people in Australia, in the US. So if you're listening or watching us here today, there is that kind of service.
Yeah, that's why we'll only take 25 people at a time, is because we truly do invest unlimited amount of our time into our clients. Yeah.
May I ask? So I just want to touch on LinkedIn a little bit because
Sure.
in the past, I used LinkedIn a lot. In our marketing team, I was actually the HR of the marketing. So my boss
All right.
gave me the task to to make our team complete. So at that time it was, I think, in 2015, 2016. So I really used it, but it has shifted, right? More than recruitment, it has kind of become more for entrepreneurs and business owners. Is this correct? So can you still use LinkedIn for hiring?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I am a huge fan of LinkedIn. So yes, there is a subset of people who do use it for entrepreneurship and business owners. For instance, I use it as well. For that, I generate my leads off of LinkedIn, a good chunk of them as well. However, LinkedIn is phenomenal. I do feel that a lot of people are sleeping on LinkedIn. I do. I'm such a big fan of it. Here's the reason why. Most decision makers are on LinkedIn. A lot of business owners, just like you said, are on LinkedIn because there are leads there. So if you are owning your own business, whether you're a copywriter, whether you're a VA, social media marketer, whatever you are, getting on LinkedIn and generating a lot of leads is absolutely possible on there. And then if you're looking for your next position, 100% you should be on LinkedIn. 100%. Recruiters are looking for you on LinkedIn. Headhunters are looking for you on LinkedIn, and so are decision makers. Here's the other phenomenal thing about LinkedIn, excuse me, is that LinkedIn's algorithm is unlike any other social media platform. Here's the reason why is that so say you and I are connected, Valerie, on LinkedIn. If you were to share a post on LinkedIn, I have like nearly 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, right? So if you, as of today, so you wrote a post on LinkedIn, I were to like it, since you and I are connected, I like it. your post would actually get blasted out to my entire network, because my entire network are actually second degree connections to you, because you and I are connected. So because of the way the algorithm works, you have the chance of being viral, your post getting viral, just by virtue of you getting your post getting viewed to second and third degree connections. So I've had clients get hired off of just posts getting, even posts that aren't even that great, just getting viewed by CEOs and business owners saying, hey, I love what you posted about this in the tech world. I need a CTO just like you. True story. So what I always recommend to people is have a rock solid LinkedIn profile that sets you apart as the industry leader that you are, and whatever your niche is, get very, very niche down into whatever you are, and post consistently on LinkedIn. It doesn't even have to be great posts. It just needs to be consistent, 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, so anyone listening and watching today, 2 or 3 times a week. That's very interesting, because I just rebooted my LinkedIn this March this year, because when I shifted from corporate, I totally forgot when we completed our team, and then I just didn't use it, just never used it again until this year when I heard somebody say something about how powerful LinkedIn is. So I restarted, I did, optimizing the page, etc. Now that you mentioned it, it's actually the second. That's how I see people liking other people's posts.
Yeah.
Because Facebook doesn't give that access to your second degree connections. That's right.
Exactly.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
On Facebook, I'll never see any of your friends' posts ever. But on LinkedIn, I can see what you're liking of your connections and all this other stuff. And that's how your network can grow and you can find new people. It's nuts. Yeah. It's
That's
pretty cool.
right. Okay. So we're gonna wrap things up right
Sure.
now. If you gave us a lot of information, I'm really surprised about your kind of business, and I really hope that our listeners and viewers will be inspired by what you did, because you started in the pandemic, like right in the pandemic, and not a lot of people have the grit and the, I don't know, just the courage to do that. So congratulations for that. Is there any advice, if there's one advice that you can give to our listeners and viewers today who may be thinking about, they have a side hustle, they want to do corporate, or they have a side, they have their own corporate and they have a side hustle and they want to quit their 9 to 5, or if they're women who want to start or scale their business? A few.
Excuse me, my biggest piece of advice is to have realistic expectations of how much work it takes to be an entrepreneur. I'm just going to be honest, right? Is I see a lot of people sharing a lot about how, down with hustle culture and, things like that. And I agree that you need to have self-care. Like there is 100%, I am 100% on board with the fact that you need to take care of yourself, get the arrested amount of sleep, or, get the recommended amount of sleep that you need for yourself. 100% set up a routine. I think that was the biggest thing that I messed up on when I first quit my job, is that it took me months to get into a routine that worked for me. And so, I mean, that's the fun part, right? You don't have to go into an office at a certain amount of time. So it's just like, I can wake up whenever. And that was to my detriment, because it was just really hard to get my anxiety under control when I didn't have a routine. So 100% set up a routine. I have, I'm the host of the Atta Girl podcast. I have an episode on that, if you want to hear me talk about that. But the biggest thing that I would say is have realistic expectations. It takes a lot of work to be an entrepreneur, and you have to learn everything. You have to learn how to be a great salesperson. You have to learn marketing. You have to learn how to be in every aspect of your business. So many times I see people and I'll just take myself, for example. I'm really good at navigating the job market. I know how to write resumes. I know how to help people interview like a rock star. But that's not enough when you're an entrepreneur. You have to learn how to manage your finances. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to sales. You have to learn how to hire people and fire people and manage people and be a good leader and all of that stuff. And I say all this not to scare people, but I say it just so that you don't give up, because so many businesses fail in the first year, and it is a wild ride, but it is a lot of work. And so I do recommend getting a coach. You don't have to get me as a coach, just get a coach so that you have someone to talk to and bounce ideas off of. I have my own coach, and it's the best decision that I've ever made, because you need to be able to talk to people, and have someone to bounce ideas off of. So it's a lot of piece of advice, but
I
being
agree
an
with
entrepreneur
getting
is
a coach. Even coaches
tough.
have coaches, because
Coaches have
how we
coaches.
also gonna grow as individuals, as business owners, as marketers, if we also don't, if we're not also accountable to somebody
Absolutely.
who will watch us and will guide us, will hold our hand, will cheer us on, all of those things. So yes, and I also
Absolutely.
agree about the hustle. I remember one time, my first business, I was a delivery girl. I actually was the one delivering the items to our customers.
Yes.
And you have to do that. You have to accept the fact that you have to do that. So that's really great advice. So speaking of advice, is there any sort of advice that was given to you, so it's the reverse, it was given to you, that you still take with you even up to now?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, I'm the host of the Atta Girl podcast. Interestingly enough, the Atta Girl podcast was started by a woman named Meredith Solo, and she gifted me the podcast because she's a genius. She's part of the Girls Media, and frankly, she just couldn't keep up with it anymore, and she wanted me to take over, which was amazing. But she gave me this advice because she tells the story about how she started this blog, and this blog had this weird, funky name a long time ago. And she's like, you know what, Kara? Always brand everything in your name. Just brand everything in your name. And she's like, no one's going to remember whatever the kitschy name of your blog is or whatever, but people remember who you are. And so I took that and I ran with it. And, I try, and I will tell you this as much as possible, get your name everywhere you possibly can. I am in Forbes. I'm a Forbes contributor. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm in the middle of doing a series on TikTok right now. My name on TikTok is Kara Dennison, SPHR. You can Google me. I want to get my name everywhere. And I do recommend, for a lot of people who are starting out, whether it's in VA or whatever, you can name your business. My name of my business is Optimized Career Solutions, but I want my name out there because I want people to know who I am. And I want people, when they're looking to start or scale their business, or if they want to find a job, I want them to know that I am here to help them and support them. And I recommend that for you if you're starting your business too. Get your name out there. I want people to know you for your specialty as well.
Yes, that's great advice. She said it all. she said it all. She covered everything. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you want to promote? Any new project? This is going to come out sometime in October or early November. So if you have anything, any events, promotions, sales, whatever, do you have anything coming up?
I don't believe I have anything coming up in that time. I did launch a series on TikTok called the Strategic Job Search series on TikTok. It went through the whole month of September, where I literally laid down pretty much everything that I teach in my course. So if you are looking at a job search and you want to watch it in like small 1 to 2 minute increments on TikTok, it is pretty interesting. So check that out. But yeah,
I'm gonna follow you there.
Yeah, it's just Kara Dennison, SPHR. My website is optimizedcareersolutions.com. But yeah, it was a pleasure to be here, Valerie. Thank you so much for having
Thank you
me.
so much. Well, I'm gonna share all of Kara's links, her LinkedIn, TikTok, etc., on our show notes and also on Facebook, wherever you're gonna see this, whether it's on LinkedIn, on Spotify, etc. Her links will all be there. So thank you very much, Kara. This was an amazing, amazing interview. I felt like, I was just listening and watching you the whole time. I got so much value from talking to you today. So thank you very much. All
Thanks,
right.
Valerie.
Thank you, everybody, and see you again for the next episode of Change Makers.